Welcome everybody. Thank you for coming out on this cold night. It is Tuesday, January 28th. We're here for our regular meeting of Golden Speakers Toastmasters Club. We meet every Tuesday night from 7:40 to 9 o'clock in the second floor conference room at the Fairfield Business Park. I think I'll suggest that we look at our devices and see if they might be put in silent mode so that Aaron's not disturbed during his speech. I think Jean's going to be the grammarian. There's your form.
And then I'm going to do the Haas and Ahs.
You do the Oz and Ums.
Let's talk about the mission of the Toastmasters Club. What is it? I'm glad you asked. The mission of the Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self-confidence and personal growth. I've completed the hard part of the meeting. Now we'll have our Toastmaster of the evening come up and get things rolling with the role player reports. Let's welcome our Toastmaster for tonight, Carmen Anticona.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home. Today we have a meeting team speaking up, and there is a quote for Martin Luther King. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends.
The what?
That's,
Say that again.
I say it again, okay. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence
The silence, okay.
of our friends. Yes. Very true. Today, I am the Toastmasters. I'm really glad to come here, even though it's so cold outside. But I'm just going to introduce the roles for today. The timer today is, our timer is Dan.
Yes. Tonight as timer, I will keep track of everything that occurs during the meeting. We have one prepared speech tonight, which is 5 to 7 minutes. The green light will come on at 5, the yellow light at 6, the red light at 7, and then our speaker will have 30 seconds to wrap things up. We'll have table topics. It'll be longer than is on the agenda because our second speaker wasn't able to come tonight. But table topics is 1 to 2 minutes. The green light's at 1 minute, the yellow is 1.5 minutes, the red light is 2 minutes, and again there's the 30-second grace period. Evaluations are ordinarily 2 to 3 minutes. 2 minutes green, 2.5 yellow, 3 minutes red. We may modify that for the table topics evaluator. And I'll give a report at the end of the meeting.
Our grammarian is Jean.
Our word of the day is frenetic. It means fast and energetic in a wild and almost uncontrolled way. Used in a sentence, Iowa caucus time is frenetic as campaigns traverse the state seeking supporters. Has anyone gotten a phone call?
Yeah, about 50.
For today.
Yeah, yes, okay, very good. Anyone get texts?
Yes.
Tons of texts. I'm getting tons of texts. All right, so
Yeah.
it's very exciting. We'll be over in a week. I will be watching for uses of this word throughout, and you get points when you use it. How you redeem the points, I haven't figured that out, but you will get points. And then secondly, I'll be looking for creative usages of language. And I really look for good vocabulary and bigger 50-cent words. And then also possible grammar usage that could be improved a bit, in my opinion. And I'll be giving a report at the end of the meeting.
Thank you. Today, our accountant is
Rosaline.
Oh, Rosaline. Could you please tell us what's your
Oh. Okay, so I'll be, oh dear, Toastmasters and visitors. We will be, I will be calculating how many ums and ahs and a's and all that.
Thank you.
And it has a form, it says what, gives you nice piece of that, okay.
Our general evaluator is Jean, and we are gonna hear from her later on. I am the Toastmasters, so I have to read the job this first week.
You get to introduce yourself.
I have to. Okay. So today there is one prepared speech. I'm gonna evaluate this speech. The objectives are: the purpose of this project is for the member to identify his or her primary leadership style or styles. And the purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of his or her primary leadership style or discuss leadership styles in general. So I'm going to introduce Aaron, and he gave me a frenetic introduction. And it reads like this. Our speaking for tonight is Aaron Russell, who wants to discuss your style, specifically your leadership style. Similar to our fashion style, everyone's leadership style is unique. But it's his hope that after his speech tonight, you will have a better idea, understanding of the qualities that make up your leadership style. Aaron is a manufacturing engineer at John Deere in Ottawa. Are you still in Ottawa? You are not here?
Yes, that's on.
Oh,
We
okay.
don't have an office here.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. And is the current director of the Fairfield Young Professionals. He has been in Toastmasters for a year and a half and currently serves as its vice president of membership. In his spare time, he enjoys playing guitar and piano, raising his 3-month-old daughter, and working on house project. The title of his speech is "Hey You, I like your leadership style." Please join me in welcoming Aaron Russell.
Hit the power button there.
Huh?
You're good.
Can you write over there, Carmen? Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, it doesn't say dig anymore.
You're okay.
Okay. Fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home, Whether we realize it or not, we are all leaders. We have influence and authority over others, and how we use that power indicates our leadership style. Now, I recently took an assessment to determine the leadership styles that I use the most, as well as the ones I avoid. And tonight, I'll review several of these leadership styles and discuss my usage of them. Now, as I go through each of these styles, I encourage you to reflect on your own usage of them, and we can see how our leadership qualities compare. First, I'll talk about the leadership styles that I use the most. The first being democratic. Now, democratic leaders encourage a collaborative decision-making process, and they share their leadership with others. Because of this, everyone's voice is heard, but it also means that it's the slowest way to make decisions. We use this leadership style a lot when we're talking about club business. A motion is brought forward, we talk about it as a group, vote on it, and make a decision based on how the majority votes. Now, I'm not at all surprised that democratic leadership is my most used. I strive on creating consensus amongst those that I lead, and I get a strong sense of confidence when I have their backing support on whatever decisions that I make. Next is altruistic leadership. These are servant leaders, and they focus on listening, empathy, and creating a sense of camaraderie with their team members. They create a personalized approach to each individual on their team. And this is great because it creates a sense of trust and respect in the team, but it takes extra time and effort in order to develop the relationships necessary for this style to work. Think about politicians on the campaign trail, especially now when they're so frenetic, shaking hands, kissing babies, and making themselves seem like that trustworthy candidate that you should vote for president. Now, this is another one that, not really surprised, is high on my list. I put a lot of emphasis on making sure that I have good working relationships with people on my team. I think it's a lot easier to collaborate with them in this way, and as such, I put a lot of emphasis on this style of leadership. Finally, coaching. Coaching leaders generally encourage skill building amongst their team members, and it typically takes the form of a mentor-type relationship. The good thing about this style is that it promotes a sort of positive morale and culture amongst the team. But if they're resistant to this type of feel-good, positive reinforcement, you can get a lot of pushback from this style of leadership. Toastmasters loves coaching leadership. We pride ourselves on our mentor relationship we use for new members, and we generally evaluate each other's speeches on a regular basis, which is huge with coaching. I think it's because of Toastmasters that coaching is so high on my leadership list. I put a lot of emphasis on my own personal development thanks to Toastmasters, and I get a lot of pride out of helping others with theirs as well. Now I'll talk about the leadership styles that I tend to avoid a little bit more. The first being bureaucratic. Bureaucratic leaders make commandments that require immediate action, and they enforce rigid rules amongst their team. The good thing about this, you get stuff done fast, but it can make your team feel micromanaged, and it can stunt any sort of innovation that your team might achieve. The military loves bureaucratic leadership. Decisions flow right down the chain of command, and no one dares ever talk back to a superior officer. I think the main reason that bureaucratic leadership is so low on my list is going back to that confidence from having the sense of having other people on my team agree with my decisions. Because in bureaucratic leadership, you just make a decision without anyone's input and just go with it. Next is authoritative leadership. These are the visionary leaders. These are the people with generally more experience than those that they're leading, and they tend to focus more on the long-term goals instead of the immediate day-to-day tasks that need to get done. This is great at driving a team towards a goal, a long-term vision, but it's not so great at doing the day-to-day tasks that need to get done to reach that vision. Think of Toastmasters International. They're focused on the long-term direction of Toastmasters as a whole, but they leave the clubs themselves to focus on more of the day-to-day interactions amongst their clubs. Now, I think the main reason that authoritative leadership is lower on my list comes down to experience. I generally don't have more experience than those that I lead, mostly because I haven't been doing my job very long, only about 3 to 4 years. And this is one that I hope to develop more as a father, where I do have that gap in experience, so I can then adapt it to other areas of my life. Last, we have innovative leadership. Innovative leaders encourage creative thinking and challenging the status quo, what's already been done. The good thing about this, they're great at solving complex problems, but because of this, it can make your team feel really stressed out really quickly, and it requires taking risks inherently in order for this style to work. I think once again, it comes down to experience why innovation is so low on my list, which is unfortunate being an engineer, but again, I've only been an engineer for 3 or 4 years. And I think that this is one that I hope to develop more now that I'm aware that it's a gap, develop it more as I continue on in my career, becoming more comfortable taking these calculated risks so I can use it when the time arises. So, because of looking through the leadership styles that I use the most, as well as the ones that I tend to avoid, I now have a better understanding on where I am as a leader, where I excel at, and the qualities that I need to improve on. And I hope that you all learned a thing or two about yourself as leaders as well. Because after all, we're all leaders, and we're all on this leadership journey together. And understanding where we are on that journey is a major step towards improvement. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
We have 2 minutes to evaluate the speaker. Right now we are gonna have our table topics master for today is Aaron Russell.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Our theme for tonight is speaking up. So, with that being said, who's going to speak up and be our first table topics? Adi? All right. All right, Adi. Describe a time when you or someone else spoke up about something and it had a positive impact. So you or someone else saw something that was wrong and they spoke up about it and it had a positive impact.
So.
Honorable Toastmasters, viewers at home, good evening. It's always like when you have, when you share your opinion with others, usually you have to be careful because you have to have a way to tell your opinion and to share it. And that's why we're here in Toastmasters. We learn this skill. We're trying to communicate. We're trying to evaluate. But in order to improve, in order to provide constructive criticism. An incident happened to me where we had an app, and in the app for the university, we have the cafeteria or the food they provide in the university, and they ask us, please come and let us know how can we improve the food that we provide in the university. So I went, and we were like 5 people. And it, for me, like, okay, oh my God, I'm not going to share my opinions. But during the talk, I had some of things like why the station of the food, because we have like the honey, all the things that when you do the sandwiches, it's very small place. So everybody will go and make the sandwich, and like it will be crowded, and you have to wait. And like I was asking, why do we need to do this? I think we have large area, so we can put it another way. And the other one, and the like, he worked there and he thought, you know what? You gave me an idea. And the second day, they changed all the station there to put it in the other place where basically it's larger and we can do like many people, they can do their sandwiches. It was very simple, but I can see that we had pain for all the students, now we don't have, with only sharing small, tiny thing. So be generous, try to talk, speak up, and share. Maybe you will help others. Thank you.
So it's 2 minutes?
1 to 2 minutes.
1 to 2, right, yeah, yeah, two's enough.
You forget those ones?
I'll go.
All right, D.
D.
Pick a good one, yeah.
All right. Can you describe a time when you or someone else was so confident that they were right about something, only to later discover that they were completely wrong? How did this turn out?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home. Golf. I was playing golf at Walton Club over here. This was last year. And, you hit a ball into the green. And the ball, my ball was like maybe 100 yards away. And I thought, I wonder what happened to my ball, And I hit it on the green, and we were walking around trying to find the ball. It hit on the green, it rolled off somewhere, or rolled into the sand trap and stuff. And I thought, maybe I hit that ball in the hole. So we're still looking around for it. We're walking around and looking in the sand trap, looking in on the other side of the green, on this side and that side, and lo and behold, we walk over there. Ball's in the hole.
Whoa.
So I had, hit the ball. That's happened to me a couple other times actually. I was playing up at Finkbine in Iowa City with Chris Wegge actually, and I hit a ball from about 100 yards away, and we were looking around looking for the ball. And of course, you're Tiger Woods. I mean, that's sort of happens all the time. And that's my story.
That actually happened to me one time when I was golfing too. Almost the same story. Looking for the ball, where is it? Where is it? I know I hit it really good. And we're looking around for 5 minutes and, oh, it's in the hole. All right, Jean. Thank you, Jean. Okay. Dale Carnegie. You know Dale Carnegie?
I don't know him.
Okay. He wrote a book called...
No, I know of him,
okay.
but, okay.
How to Win Friends and Influence Others, yes. In his book, he argues that there are actually times when you know what someone is saying is wrong, but you should still not speak up and call them out on being wrong about something. How do you feel about his opinion? Do you agree or disagree? And why? Does that make sense?
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. I actually, to answer this question, and fellow Toastmasters and viewers at home, I'm going to come down on it depends. When it's important to tell the truth that something is incorrect, is wrong. It could be in a business situation, it could be in a situation where there really are consequences, depending on which direction you go. And you want to make sure that you're going in the best direction. I think that truth will always prevail. It's better to tell the truth and not worry about the consequences than to be worried about what is going to be the effect of telling the truth in a situation like that, particularly if it's factual, there's a direction that needs to be taken. You've just got to say it and let the chips fall. The other side of it, though, is when it really does not matter so much what the answer is or what the outcome is, where the person is expressing something, maybe it's how they're perceiving an action that you took, and if they're wrong about what they are describing, but it's a more delicate situation. So do you want to be right or do you want to be happy is one of the sayings that comes out of that. So that situation, you might not just come out and say, well, you're flat out wrong and here's why. You might just say, I hear what you're saying. Let me think about that a little bit. There's maybe some truth to that. Just it's a way to be a little more relationship oriented and cognizant of wanting to preserve the relationship. And in that case, the truth, no matter what, doesn't really have to be the priority. It can be more nurturing the relationship. Thank you. So it depends.
Rosalie, would you like to go? All right.
Okay.
Rosalie, think of a time when you talk back to a parent maybe, or a spouse, or talk back to someone after they had given you direction or given you something that you just didn't agree with. And how did that go over?
So my fellow Toastmasters and viewers at home, I'm thinking of taking a little bit of a different direction, because I thought of something when Jean was talking, a situation where my two brothers were arguing about religion, which in my opinion was a really ridiculous conversation, because people have a right to their own opinion. And so one of my brother is bipolar, and so he'll argue about anything. And he turned around during that kind of fight they were having, and he turned around and looked at me and he went like this. And what is your opinion? What side are you on? And I looked at him and I said, I'm on the side of people that do good. And he looked at me and then he smiled and he said, oh, that's a good answer. So here we are. I gave my opinion without offending any of them. and it turned out really well.
Cool.
How are we doing on time? I know we haven't done the evaluation yet.
Yeah. Is this mine? No. Is this mine?
Are we okay in time?
Yes.
This is my special. I can read it.
Would you like to go?
Oh, no, I'm just gonna do.
Oh,
the
your evaluation.
Your evaluation.
Okay,
Are we?
Are we
Should
on
we-
time? Or
I don't,
you don't know?
No, Carmen, you're the Toastmaster, so you gotta keep us, oh, you don't have a watch.
well, when we
No,
take
but
so
it-
many
who's the
things out
timer?
of,
the evaluation should take about 5 minutes. So,
Yeah, you just gotta keep us,
So when does it
look and
say
see where
on
we
this-
are, and then.
when does it say on the schedule
Tell
we
us-
we're
tell us,
voting
Mom.
for table topics speaker?
Oh, yeah, that's.
And then we need to be.
That's 8:38.
Then we need to be 5 minutes earlier than that.
okay. I think we should,
It's time to, it's
could-
time to vote for table topics, I think.
No, who qualifies for table
Everybody
topics?
qualified.
Everybody, we've got
Everybody.
Addie, Dee, Jean, and Rosaline.
all right. Everyone vote for their favorite candidate and pass the votes over to me.
No, you can't. You absolutely can't. You can use it, I'm a new father, I haven't slept in months.
Yeah, I'll go with that one. I did use it today though,
Yeah.
which is out of the norm. Did everyone vote?
Yes.
All right. And I would like to turn it back over to our, not
General,
Toastmaster,
how about
but
we do general evaluator and then we'll pull up. Oh, yeah, that's okay. And then you
the
call
general
me.
evaluator needs something to evaluate.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Well, I call it the evaluators, okay.
Thank you, Madam Evaluator.
Yay, and then.
Aaron, your speech was really good. It was really interesting. It was a great speech. I really like when you project your voice and project the content of your speech to the audience. At the same time, you use a PowerPoint. I'm always kind of afraid of PowerPoints because it makes you limit to one point. That's what it says, PowerPoint. You are in one point and you don't know how to jump to the other point. But there was, you did it twice. So you started here and then you just walk here, which is good because if it's too many times, the audience feel confused. And at the same time, when you do it too many times, you don't see the screen so much. But it was a good point for your speech. I could like to see, and this one was one of the purpose. Not the purpose in general, but the purpose like in every aspect of that in a speech, to engage more the audience. For example, ask a question to the audience, or raise your hand if there was something like this, or because you were talking about leadership, you can say, oh, do you remember when we were talking about this, and someone was saying this, it was a great leadership example, something that we can relate, we can all relate to that point of time. And also, you are really funny, and I was expecting something really funny, so I can laugh. It was kind of a serious speech, but a funny moment is always good. Besides that thing, your clarity, your English is pretty clear. You are improving your eye contact, even though it's a little bit, you just need to address to each person, but I saw you that you were just focusing on the camera and then here and there, which is good. Your comfort level is perfect to me. Your interest, the topic was good. Was a really good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen.
Now I'm gonna call our general evaluator, Jean Symington Craig.
Okay. Thank you. That came out of Toastmasters. Okay, yeah. It's a little anemic there. I guess. It's not just for me, you understand. This is for everybody who comes up here. We want to be lively. We also have a table topics evaluator for the evening, and that would be Addie. And it's been nice to see Addie back from travels and both local and other states. So great to have Addie back. Addie, let's go ahead and have your evaluation.
Good evening again. You know what? I have to confess something because I forgot. I only have 2 evaluation out of 5.
Out of 5? Do we have 5?
Not a 4.
Out of
Well,
So, much better person.
unless he
Okay.
wants to evaluate himself.
Regarding the amazing and frenetic table topic ideas. Is this a good term to use the good?
You thought they were fast and energetic in a wild and uncontrolled way?
Okay.
Probably.
Okay.
Okay, this is good.
All right. I will start with Rosaline. First of all, the topic was encouraged people to talk and to speak. So thank you so much. The topic. Master, Rosaline, you improved a lot. I can tell, and everybody here can tell how much you improved. The confidence, how much you master the time, how you have everything. You have introduction, body, conclusion. You're way beyond that the first time you came here, to be honest. So let's give her a big round of applause because you deserve it. I like your story when you diverted the question in a very nice way. He was asking about something, and this is like the power of Toastmasters. If you can basically, you can divert. If he asks you something and you, okay, I'm gonna go to ask about something, but in a very nice way in the context. So you talked about your brothers, you talked about the way, and you had a good conclusion. The only thing is the eye contact. You were talking to Aaron most of the time. So, as if we all, like here, you had an engaging story, so give us all attention, equally. This is like the only thing. For I like your story, you always have jokes when you speak, and this give authenticity, like, and to your speech, and you're talking about the ball and everything. Again, the only thing is the eye contact and more vocal variety. This is what I have so far in my basket. I have
Well, I
to.
guess we know who you draw.
You know what? Because when you speak here, like, I just want to listen. That's why.
He saves it, he
That's why.
saves it.
Yeah.
Flattery gets you
Back to
everywhere.
you.
Yeah. All right, thank you. We've all done that. We've all gotten caught up and forget to do our roles. That can happen. You have to learn how to walk and chew gum at the same time. Okay. Where are we now? So thank you for both of our evaluators. And I guess at this point, let's go ahead and have some reports. First, let's hear from our timer. Dan.
Our speaker tonight, Aaron, spoke for 6 minutes, 40 seconds. Table topics, Addie was 2 minutes, 42. Dee, 1:28. Jean, 2:02. Rosaline, 1:23. Evaluators, Carmen was 2 minutes, 57. Addie was 2 minutes and 3.
Thank you. Alrighty. If you go ahead and hear from the grammarian, who is me, I heard 2 usages of the word of the day, one from Carmen, one from Aaron. I heard an attempted usage that wasn't exactly correct. So we want to make sure we're using the word, but we're using it correctly. But that's how we learn, is we try the word and sometimes it may not be quite right. So keep thinking of frenetic. It's just that high energy and it's kind of almost out of control. It's buzz, 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 buzz.
I think Dan used it too.
Did
I think
Dan
it was
use it?
before the meeting even started. Though.
Before the meeting started.
You did. Okay, you did it before the official tally keepers. I guess, but Dan did use it.
Honorable mention.
And it was a good usage, by the way, because we were frenetically trying to put our meeting together so we could start.
Well, I
Okay.
thought of it, but I just didn't do it.
There you go.
It's the thought.
Okay. Rosaline gets 1/2 for
Because I
thinking
could have
it.
said that my brother who's bipolar gets
It's
frenetic.
frenetic.
about his
Okay.
opinions.
Honestly, I'm gonna say that has value because as long as you're starting to incorporate the word in some way, shape, or form, even if it got cut by the time you actually produce the sentence, it's helping structure. All right. Did anyone else think the word of the day? But just the one truth here. If you didn't think it, don't say so. Okay. Everyone's frenetically thinking. Okay. I heard Addie said something, I thought he said after he made his suggestions he was talking about how everybody was all bunched up trying to make their sandwiches. I've eaten in Annapurna quite, years ago, but he said we had pain with all the students bunched together. Did you say pain or did I not hear that?
Yeah, I think I said, yeah.
It's kind of a pain. I mean,
Yeah.
it's perhaps a pain, physical pain, like everybody's elbowing each other. It's kind of a way. It's a little bit of a pain, but I liked it. I put it in.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I had one correction. I have to do this for Aaron.
Uh-oh.
He said at the end of his speech, something about leadership. It was helpful for me to go through this so I could see where I excel at.
Just where I excel, I guess.
Where I excel. Right. Right. Where I excel. Or what. Yeah, it's
What I
hard.
excelled at?
Well, there are people who would say you don't want to end a sentence with a preposition.
No.
So that would be the at.
Or I could say where I excelled.
Yeah, where I would say where I excel or where
Yeah.
I excel.
That's it.
Or the styles at which I excel. If you want to do that. Yeah.
Now we're
Okay.
talking.
Okay, everyone following that? Okay. It's tricky. All right, good. And that is my grammarian's report. Thank you. Okay. Now we would like to hear from our counter, Rosaline.
So fellow Toastmasters and people at home. I didn't hear any from Dan,
Ooh.
so maybe he didn't, but Carmen had some, I think it was ums and hays. She had 5 of them. Dee had a lot of you-knows, I think at least 5, and then some ums, about 5 also. Erin had a couple of ands, and a couple of so's. Abdu, I didn't Yeah, and I don't think he did. Jean had a couple of ands and so, and Rosaline had 3 ums and an M.
Okay. And by the way, Addie, could you just pronounce your name just so we've got it all again?
ADI, Addy.
Addie. Okay, Addie. Okay, good. I had to untrain myself. I was calling you Addie. Like, and now if I'd gone Audi, that would have been the car. So that was
Or the
not.
belly
Or the
That's a
what?
The
different
belly
thing.
button.
The belly.
Audi. You know.
Oh, an
Indian.
Audi. An Audi. Who's been changing diapers? Yeah, exactly. And does Vivian have one?
She has an innie.
She has an innie. Okay. Very different from an Audi. Okay, rein me in. I'm getting ready to say, let's everybody look at what we got here, but we don't have to do
My
that. Okay.
sister-in-law doesn't have a belly button.
No belly button?
Something with the way she was born. She had a birth defect.
Oh, jeez.
She lost her belly button.
What?
Jeez.
My sister-in-law doesn't have a belly button.
Well,
My mom did, but it was from an operation.
okay, well, you know, it makes wearing bikinis and stuff a little more challenging. They probably have a surgery, a cosmetic surgery to give you a belly button now.
It's
I'm
so-
getting the, the time signal from the president. All right, we do have a joke master tonight, which is me, because I have a great joke. Can I tell it? Okay. I just heard it today. I'm going to try to remember it. There was a new inmate at prison. He was trying to figure out just what needs to happen and how things work and just kind of watching everything. Well, what he found was at night, they'd all be in their cells. They had roommates. They'd be all in their cells. And then the lights would go out. And then all of a sudden, somebody would call out a number. Could be any number. 38. There'd be a pause. And then, the whole place would break out in laughing. And just laughter, laughter, laughter. And then someone else would say, 7. Pause. Laugh, 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 laugh. So this went on, several numbers, and then things settled down. Well, the next day, the new inmates asked his cellmate, he said, what is this about the numbers? What is going on with that? And his cellmate said, well, you know that book that we have, there is a book, it's got all the jokes in it. We've all read it a gazillion times. We all know what joke is on which page. And so rather than telling the joke, we just shout out the number and we all know what it is and then we all laugh. Like that. So the new inmate goes, okay, so now I know what to do. He gets the book. He reads it all, he really absorbs it, and he's getting ready for his big moment. So the night comes and lights go off, guards are gone, and he yells out, 63! Silence. So he just goes into a sweat, like, why aren't they laughing about that one? He tries it one more time. 47! Nothing happens. He's so demoralized. He doesn't know what he's done wrong. He doesn't know what the problem is. He's just sweating like crazy. So he leans over and he says to the cellmate, why isn't anybody laughing? The cellmate says, well, you know, some people just don't know how to tell a joke. That's it. Okay. All right. General evaluator report. I will be focusing on the evaluators quickly here. Carmen, excuse me, evaluated Aaron. Right off, she said she was a little nervous about PowerPoints, but she said as I got it that he did well with the PowerPoint. A little tricky because about moving around. She also said that he had clarity, he had good use of English. So she's building him up. That's the point, and that's what we want with good evaluations. She had a suggestion, which was to engage the audience more. And she gave an example, maybe ask a question, have the audience respond in some way. So that was a good thing. So she gave a suggestion and she gave an example of what that might look like. That's always what we want to do when we're evaluating. My suggestion to Carmen would be that she could suggest at some point, because this is a common bit with PowerPoints, is that to put this PowerPoint here in front, put the computer in front, and then so that you don't have to turn at all and look at what's going on in your slides, you can more easily see it from the front. So you can keep, it's not that you can't look at your device, but you just get, your eyes are still going frontward and not turning around. Whatever kind of visual that you've got, whether you're using some sort of overhead or something, you can do it that way. So that would be my suggestion to Carmen, just to, anytime there's a PowerPoint, you can see if the person knows that tip. Okay. Addie, table topics, he made Rosalind feel really good, noted her improvement, you know, we all were excited, and mentioned how she did the pivot. I called it the pivot, and it was well done. My suggestion to Addie would be that we actually have a name for that. It's called a segue, and could, this is in Toastmasters, and so when you're doing a segue, Addie could mention to Rosaline that a segue can happen in real life. Maybe you get asked a question you know nothing about, and you can address that question, just say, that's a really interesting question. It makes me think I'd like to learn more about that. But one aspect of that is this, and I feel like I can really tell you something about that. So there's kind of a moving away. It's not just refusing to talk, address a question, but it's a way of just steering it in a different direction. So that would be that. He also appreciated Dee for the storytelling and what Dee did for that, and also gave him a suggestion for the vocal variety. Dee always just lights up when he starts telling a story. So I think, you know, I think your appreciation was, I didn't have a suggestion in terms of vis-a-vis with Dee. And that is my report for that. Okay.
Can I say something? I used like to volunteering with doing the stage and like talks.
You like to what now at the front?
I used to be a volunteer doing in a community that we do talks and things. So we had a big event, and part of it we had a very big stage, and then we were helping them preparing the stage, and then like one of the stage planner put the confidence monitors here, and they call it confidence monitors.
Oh,
The one when you
kind of like what we were talking
yeah,
about.
because when you talk
to...
in front of people, you will have screens.
That's right.
On the ground.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And they call them.
There's a reason why they put the teleprompters in front, you know, on TV. It's like, welcome, Academy members. So
No, but they call them like
confidence.
Confidence
Yeah,
monitors.
so you don't. It's like, you know, you don't have to have your note. It's kind of like having your notes all there and everything. Yeah, perfect. Okay, great. Well, that's it. That was my report. I will go ahead and hand it back over to our Toastmaster for awards and our president. This one?
Is this the only one? We don't have the best speaker?
I think when you run unopposed, right? You don't.
No, we normally, it's not your
Oh,
fault
okay.
that you were unopposed. As long as you're within time.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we can grab one later
Wow.
after the meeting.
So we know the best speaker today is Ann Russell.
Yay!
And now our best table topic is
our president, Dan.
Thank you, Carmen. We have just a few minutes left. Our main topic is something we've touched on already. It's the officer training that's going to occur this Sunday. It's a makeup session, so they're having it on Sunday instead of Saturday. It's in Coralville, which is about an hour and a quarter away. The registration starts at 12:15 to 12:30. So I'm thinking
An hour and 15 or?
Yeah,
an hour.
that's
and
how long it
15
takes to get
minutes.
to.
Yeah,
10:45.
I was thinking 10:45.
Can you go if it's a Sunday?
Yeah.
Great.
So Addie, Aaron, Dan, and Jean. How about Carmen? Are you able to go?
Yeah, I will go.
Okay. So that's 5 of us. We'll need to take 2 cars.
We do?
I will go by myself.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay, well now we have.
Where's this at?
Coralville
Oh.
Library.
are they doing anything after, or is it just?
I mean,
I don't
like
think,
a mixer or anything?
Yeah.
I think since it's a makeup session, it's nothing formal.
I didn't think I saw anything.
Yeah. Well, that's very good. I'm glad to hear that. I'll send out an email just to remind us all. Is there anything else we need to talk about? I think we'll spend about 5 minutes after the meeting looking at the draft poster that the Keno
Oh, did he send one?
sent. Since you've got your computer here, maybe you could just fire it up to him. He sent it to you, me, and Jean.
Okay. I didn't even see it.
Looked pretty good. I think it may need a little bit of change. In terms of deadline, the latest we should get it to the weekly reader is Monday. I prefer to get it to them by Thursday or Friday.
So they have time to tweak on it.
And so Bikina's going to finish the design.
See, the student, right?
From Rwanda.
He had an exam tonight, so he couldn't make it in to finish his exam. Should I be the one to send the poster to Hillary, or you just email it, right?
Yeah, so here's the,
Okay.
what I think, I mean, you know, I know you've been busy, so we've been sort of, I think if we have the poster and we have the article and we send that off to Hillary and we give her the dates that we want this to show, and, you know, she's used to that. And then, Aaron, is the same article gonna go in the weekly, Union?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Did Andy was gonna get back and see?
Yeah.
So my suggestion is we send stuff that Aaron takes the same stuff and sends it to Andy and just says, use what you want, or use what you
Yeah.
feel is good, and he may not wanna use the poster, but the article
Mhm.
is good.
Yeah, I can just send him everything we got and say, what do you need from us? You know?
Yeah,
I know he was gonna check on, he didn't think we needed to pay for ad space, but he was gonna double check.
yeah,
Follow up with him on that, cause he never got back to me.
sometimes the article will not be in, you know, it's like, it doesn't count as an ad, the poster might be an ad, so then
that's
we
true.
would,
We'll let him make the discretion.
yeah. But, you know, we should send it to, I think we should send it to Weekly Reader, because we have that, I mean,
We,
Hillary,
you, and I.
yeah.
Okay. We should have an officers' meeting this coming Tuesday, be the first Tuesday of the month. We hadn't one not long ago, but since we have the special event, I think we should go ahead and get together. And is there anything else?
So that'd be 6:50.
6:50.
Do we have
Tuesday.
confirmation on who, I know, what? We know Teresa and,
We know Teresa
Mark,
and
I know Mark Lotta seemed pretty confident. Did we get any?
Jamie said yes.
Okay.
Jamie said yes, and Jamie sent me an email and just said, you know, how's it going? Is there anything? And I just said, well, you know, I just said, did you see that email where about asking for the title and the times and the trainings? And that's kind of where we are looking. Anyway, that was yesterday,
Okay.
and I haven't heard back yet. So
Okay,
So along with me and you, that'd be 5 people.
Mhm.
Is that?
that's
are
what
happy
we were
with-
shooting for, yeah.
And the tricky part is the mic. We don't have a lavalier mic,
I don't wanna get into any more detail right now.
but someone maybe could get one, because that's gonna affect storytellers, so. Dan's trying to organize
Is that
it.
the personal mic that you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
one that you don't have to hold or stand in front of, okay,
Ladies and gentlemen.
all right. So it's moving along, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
What is the event?
Telling
February
tales.
No one knows.
February 18th,
18th.
it's a Tuesday.
at the library.
I'm gonna say that is going to end tonight's meeting. Thanks for coming, everybody. Please help us clean up a little bit, and we look forward to seeing you all next week.